So designing reusable capabilities. So first let us understanding the meaning of designing reusable capabilities. So we should build tools as generic capabilities, not task specific hacks. So the idea is that whenever we are designing the tools, we are building the tools, we have to consider the reusable capabilities, meaning that we should build tools as generic capabilities and not task specific hacks. Because if we are building tools as generic capabilities, we can reuse it, and that is the main idea. So we should design tools considering that it should be reusable. So we should build a tool as generic capabilities and not specific and not task specific hacks. If I look at an example of a bad design, so let us suppose I design a tool called calculate discount for Flipkart. Now this tool is applicable, like it this tool can only calculate the discount for Flipkart. It is task specific, and since this tool calculate discount for Flipkart, it is task specific, we cannot reuse it to calculate discount for any other product or platform. So this is an example of a bad tool design. So we should avoid building tools like this. Rather, we should consider some good practices wherein we should build a tool as generic capabilities. So here we are you like building a tool called calculate percentage. Now this tool is highly reusable. The reason for that is using this tool very easily we can calculate the percentage. Like this tool you can reuse it like wherever you want to calculate the percentage you can make use of this tool. So this is an example of a tool with generic capabilities, capability of calculating the percentage, and this tool can be reused. So that is the idea, designing reusable capabilities. Let us look at some more examples, like capability examples. So let us look at the capability of math. So for the math capability, a generic tool would be a calculator, because this calculator, it is generic in nature. You can perform whatever calculations you want. So you can solve a tax tip, a rocket trajectory, or a discount. So the idea is that for a particular capability, if you are building a tool, you should build a tool as generic capabilities so that we can reuse it. We can reuse the capabilities. So calculator is like a very generic tool. We can make use of it in different scenarios. So this is an example, capability example. Similarly, for retrieval capability, for information retrieval capability, we should consider a generic tool such as search API. Now this search API is a very generic tool because with this we can use it in different contexts. Like we can make use of the search API to find a news story, to find a technical documentation or a person's bio. So that is the retrieval capability. So for the retrieval capability, we are considering a generic tool, that is the search API. Similarly, for storage capability, the generic tool we should use or build is the database, because in this database we can store whatever we want. So that's why it's a reusable capability, because the database as a tool is very generic in nature. We can use the database to save a user's preference, a shopping list, or a high score. Similarly, for communication capability, we can use a tool such as email or SMS, because these are like very generic in nature. Because using email and SMS, we can send whatever email we want. So can be used for sending email, SMS, or Slack by just changing the channel parameter. So now it's very clear that In order to accomplish a capability, definitely we will be needing tools. So we should build tools as generic capabilities rather than task specific hacks. So the advantage of generic capabilities is that our tools will have reusable capabilities. We can reuse it wherever we want, and it makes the tool even more powerful because it will be reusable. So the key principle we should consider is, like, if we talk about tools, we should build the tools once, like build once and use everywhere. So that is the key principle. So now it's very clear that whenever we are building new tools or designing tools for capabilities, we should try to build it once and use it everywhere. So we should make it reusable. And how we can make it reusable? By making the tool generic and not task specific. So we should build the tools as generic capabilities and not task specific hacks. So that is the idea.